I'd like to unbox the latest addition to my watch collection and the first Rolex that I've purchased since the day date about 2.5 years ago. Now, this is one of the very few Rolex models that sells for under retail used, which is the route that I took. I bought this used from a good friend and I saved some money versus buying this at my local authorized dealer. So I bought the 126600. This is the Sea Dweller 43, and it's a model that is more uncommon, right? It's not that popular of a watch. It doesn't command premiums on the secondary market, and those things are some of the things that draw me to this model. I like that it's not super sought after. I like that you don't see these in the wild very often compared to Submariners or GMT Master 2s, both of which are awesome. I have owned both models in years past, but there's something special about the Sea Dweller 43. I know not everybody enjoys a large sport watch, but I enjoy large sport watches because I have larger wrists. So this just feels perfect on my wrist. And I imagine it looks and feels on me what a 40 millimeter Submariner looks and feels like on a slightly smaller wrist. But it's more than just being a bigger, more capable, or more intense Submariner, because I don't think that's necessarily true. The Sea Dweller 43 feels a lot more different than a Submariner. The lugs are more tapered, the crown guards are less beefy, and because these large white gold applied markers, I believe, are the same size as what you find on a sub, but are set in a larger watch, they appear proportionally smaller, which I like. Those different details make this watch just visually look similar to a classic 5 digit Submariner or GMT Master 2. And I love the proportions on those older references. I think they're just so good. So to me, this looks slightly more attractive, proportionally speaking, than a modern Submariner. I like the fact that the dial is less shiny. Rolex calls this intense black, so it's still very deep. It has nice contrast with these markers, but there's still some reflectivity, but far less than what you find on a Submariner or a GMT Master 2. I also enjoy the fully graduated bezel. That it just reminds me of some of the older collectible mill sub references. And also going to the heritage note, this has a red line of text, which is just another celebration of the brand's past. And I personally enjoy a little bit of nostalgia with specific models. So seeing it as this was released on the 50th anniversary of the Sea Dweller, I think the red line of text is fitting. So in short, I think the Sea Dweller 43 hits those right nostalgic notes. It has the proper proportions, in my opinion. It feels great on my wrist, but it's still a tough, capable, modern sports Rolex with all of the features that we love to see with a modern Rolex. But the icing on the cake is the fact that it's not one of those very sought after designs that everybody wants, and you don't see it that often in the wild. So I like all of those aspects. Here it is next to the day date, and I have to say, I feel very fortunate to have both in the rotation. I love the duo that these make. I like the fact that the Sea Dweller could be a daily driver that is sporty and tooly, and I could take almost anywhere. But when I want something that's less toolish, that has more pop and pizzazz, that's completely different in feel, I could put on the day date. So I do think they make quite the dynamic duo that cover every base. Now here it is next to a Tudor Pelagos FXD, which, just looking at the visuals is very similar. The interesting thing about this Tudor is the fact that it's 4,450 at retail, which is significantly less. It's it's a ridiculous amount less than what you would spend on one of these Sea Dweller 43s. And is it a significantly inferior watch? I would say definitely not. In fact, in some ways, it does a nicer job than the Rolex does. So in the future, I'm going to compare these two watches in a separate dedicated video. Stay tuned for that. I will also do an in-depth review at some point on my channel of this 126600 Sea Dweller 43. So stay tuned for that as well. Thanks to my friend Marc Goldberg for selling me this Sea Dweller at a very fair price. Marc has long been a good friend of mine. He has a watch channel on YouTube, which I'll link below if you're interested in checking out his content. I appreciate you watching today. Reach out with questions. Please like and please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.